Nocked and ready to rock.
Now we're at the stage where we can finally tie on our knock and loop configuration. I really like to use tied knocks and loops because they're lighter weight, so you're going to be able to gain speed, and they're also a little bit more forgiving, and they're a lot easier for wear and tear on your release aid. The four things that you're going to need for this are going to be some serving thread, and for tying knocks and loops and also tying your peep, you're going to need to get some BCY 3D serving thread. You're going to need to get some BCY loop material. This is the poly braid loop material. A pair of D-loop pliers are very, very useful for stretching this loop. And then also you're going to need a lighter to burn this. This is really an easy step, and what I do is I'll go ahead and put my arrow right at 90 degrees on the string, and I'll lightly secure it in a bow press just so that I can easily tie these on. This is really an easy process, and again, if you have this at 90 degrees, we're going to go ahead and tie on our knock points first. We're going to use a simple technique called over and under knots, and I'm going to show you close up just exactly how you do this. It's going to be important that you don't move that arrow as we do this, because again, once we tie these knocks, we want to make sure that that arrow is going to be at 90 degrees. And we're going to start first by tying this top knock. Okay, we're going to tie what's called over and under knot. So you're going to take about a 1 foot piece of this 3D material, and you're going to actually loop it through 2 times, just like this, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to tie 1 time right against the very top edge of this knock. Again, don't move the arrow because you want your arrow at 90 degrees. You're going to tighten it down, fairly secure, and then this second time we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it under, which is why we call this an over and under knot. We're going to tie it twice. This time we're going to pull, and we're going to start stacking these underneath that first one, over this one, under that one, over this one, and we're actually going to stack these knocking points, and we're going to put them right up against the top edge of that arrow, just like this. We're going to do this 3 times on each side. Make sure you securely tighten it down firmly. This is our last time underneath. So for this very last one, I'm going to slide this out of the way. For this last one, we've done 3 on top, 3 on the bottom, and now to actually finish this, we're going to go ahead and tie this 1 time. And we're going to secure this down right in between this small little gap between our last 2. We're going to pull it 1 time, it's going to snug down in there, and then we're going to tie it 1 more time on top, which actually does a square knot on top. Then we're going to go ahead and burn these 2 bits off, and as you can see, we have a perfectly tied knock point on the top. It's important that you let your flame go up instead of underneath. If it's here, you're going to burn it. If your flame's up here, your flame always rises. Now we're going to do the exact same thing here on the bottom. We don't want to push it too hard against the knock because we don't want to have pinch. So we're going to leave just barely about a 1/2 mil to a 1 millimeter gap. Now we're going to do the same exact thing here on the bottom of the knock. We're going to do our over and under knots, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom. Again, this is our last one, so we're going to go ahead and tighten this down right here, secure it, and then again tie one more knot to make our square knot. One thing that you want to focus on is making sure that you don't have too much knock pinch. You want to have just a very small space here between your tied knock and the bottom of that knock, so that as you come to full draw, it'll take up that space. But if it's too tight, then you're going to end up pinching your arrow too much and actually lifting it off the arrow rest. So this is perfect. Just a very, very small amount of space, about 1/2 millimeter. All right, well, as you can see, we've got 2 tied knocks perfectly. So in our next segment, I'm going to show you how to finish this up by tying on a proper D loop.
Nocked and Ready to Rock.